Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to thank you for joining us for this great edition of Soulivity Today. We're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Westley Johnson, and of course, whether you're at home, driving, or even at work, we are always glad you're here with us. You know, today is a special show because we're going to be talking about an important topic, and we have a special guest as well. But let's start here. It is estimated that kidney disease affects 31 million people in the United States alone. And globally, 1 in 10 people have some form of kidney disease. Now, NephCure, a leading nonprofit organization dedicated to finding better treatments and a cure for rare kidney disease, is proud to announce the inaugural National APOL1 Kidney Disease Awareness Day on April 30th, 2024. Now, this day is dedicated to raising awareness of APOL1 kidney disease, a genetic form of kidney disease that predominantly impacts people of African descent. Now, APOL1 kidney disease is caused by specific genetic variations or changes in the APOL1 gene, which can lead to a significantly higher risk of developing kidney disease. Individuals who inherit this gene variation have 10 to 30 times the risk of developing kidney disease, making it crucial to raise awareness and support of those affected by this condition. Now, our special guest today is Jorden Albright, who joined the NephCure team in January 2023 as the volunteer community leader of Atlanta. Now, he brings years of experience in networking and relationship building with a background in the film and entertainment industry, as well as his profession as commercial real estate associate. Now, Jorden, attributes his involvement in advocacy to his younger brother being diagnosed with this rare kidney disease called APOL1 FSGS, which he too was diagnosed with later. You know, after seeing his brother persevere and spread positivity and awareness throughout uncertain times, he decided that he wanted to do the same. And so, Jorden, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Soulivity today. You and your brother just inspire me. I'm just going to say that straight out. Very pleased to have you both here.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. It really is an honor, and I'm so happy to be here and help spread even a bit more awareness to very unknown disease. So again, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed our conversation before we came on air, just kind of like sharing some history about African Americans and our specific journey to where we are today health-wise. I mean, there's a lot of factors here. So the fact that we're talking about APOL1 kidney disease is just one of those things that is part of the whole bigger picture of creating health equity, right? I mean, there's so many different facets, or what the medical community calls social determinants of health, that we need to look at. And so thank you again for being here. Let's start from the beginning. So when were you and your brother first diagnosed with APOL1 kidney disease?
So my brother was diagnosed in 2021. He had actually just graduated high school. I was diagnosed in January of 2022. So I was about 24 years old. I got diagnosed. Yeah, we were, my brother was about 18, I was about 24.
Wow. And so what was life like for both of you? Let's kind of like set the scene so that people can kind of understand You were both in your late teens at that time, correct?
I was in my early to mid 20s. My brother was
Oh,
in
early.
his late teens. Yes, sir.
Got
So for us, my brother had just graduated high school. We were
okay.
just getting him prepared for college. He's about to move off. So it was a hard time to learn some new information like that. Myself, I had actually just begun a brand new job, an all commission job that had no sort of benefits. So it was also like, oh man, like this is like not the best time. Like I just made this big decision. We're both kind of in big transitory periods in our lives. And it was like you just hit a big wall. So it was, kind of caught us off guard, but we adapted quickly, again, and just
Right.
seeking knowledge and try to get a better understanding of what it is we're living with.
Wow. Wow. Were there any kind of like warning signs or anything like that that you kind of can think of back up upon when you were a kid and like, okay, this was happening or that was happening?
Yeah, that's one of those things that it's tough to try to be a hypochondriac, really, and just feel like everything might be directly correlated to our diagnosis, which something we've learned is that most people actually do not have symptoms until they've nearing end-stage renal disease. So reaching that last stage of kidney disease. So for us, while I'd like to say that maybe I could have thought there were some markers here or there, I think I might just be grasping at straws just because, you know, in all reality, we were just very healthy, normal guys, just living our lives. We were very athletic, played a lot of sports, we're very well involved. And the only reason we found out actually is that my brother just happened to play around a blood pressure machine. So we didn't really have any outright symptoms. Maybe my brother had some headaches here and there, maybe more than someone on average.
Hmm.
Maybe some small things that again we're just trying to correlate to this and that, but overall no, and that's the scariest part.
Wow.
Like, it really is a silent killer. So that bringing that awareness.
Wow. So so he went to a blood pressure machine, and his blood
Mhm.
pressure was like excessively high or something like that.
Extremely, yes. He was at my aunt's house, who had actually just donated a kidney to her brother-in-law. So she had a blood pressure machine just sitting out. I thought I had mine. I was gonna be like, for example. Um, but so he was sitting there, and decided he picked it up, tried it out, and yeah, his blood pressure was extremely elevated. Like so much so we had to bring him straight to the hospital. Our family was like,
Wow.
hey, this is not normal. We had another family member try it out. A few of us were in normal ranges, so brought him straight to the hospital, and they had to keep him overnight. And that ensued a bunch of tests, a bunch of questions, and just reopened that door to everything else. So that really was a blessing in disguise. Just that one random evening, my family was just hanging out, and he just decided to pick it up. So
Wow.
we're very lucky
Wow.
in that.
I'm just, so what was it like for you? I know you were in the hospital. You were just there because you're, big bro, making sure little bro's okay. What was going through your
I
mind at
actually
that
could
time? Oh, that's
at
right.
that time I actually couldn't be there.
It, it was
Only
COVID.
be
I'm just
my
now
mother.
remembering that.
Yeah. So I actually couldn't be there as well. So
Wow.
when I found out the official diagnosis, I was actually visiting my sister, who lives in Northern California now, and I will never forget that. It's gonna sound very exaggerative, but it almost like one of those movie scenes where it felt like the world literally stopped. It was like, wow, like, and just like it felt very quiet. It's like, man, like this is something we're gonna have to, like he's gonna live with the rest of his life. My brother was young. You never
Mm-hmm.
want to,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially your younger siblings. Have to go through such a life-changing thing at such a young age when you should just be focusing on having a good time and building your life. Um, so it was very scary. So much so that honestly, when I got diagnosed, like I didn't get that feeling at all, which sounds odd, but like it didn't feel nearly as daunting. It was already something that my brother was living with. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say I felt relieved that I had to succeed as well, but it was kind of like we were together at least, like he's not fully just like on his own in those feelings and emotions. So it's definitely very interesting. Learned a lot in that time frame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, did what led you to get diagnosed? Was it the similar thing, or you were like, nah, I just need to get checked out?
My whole family just was like, look, we all need to go get screened, make sure
Gotcha.
making sure we're just looking into our own health. If this is something that is we already know it's prevalent in the Black community, we should in general look. And this is before we knew anything about potential gene mutations, and
Wow.
my father being where he's from, speaking a bit about him before we got on live, is just we are very open to healthcare and making sure we're on top of it for ourselves. But there's a large conversation there where like the Black community, as far as being comfortable with the medical community and big pharma itself, was like there was a lot of trust there that we had to build to really even consider opening those doors. It's a big question to ask someone to consider testing their genetics and seeing if they're, it's a very uncomfortable thing that I would have never thought I would have been open to or doing. And so, we didn't really have much option to do else. So my brother was a big reason that I was even open to something I probably never would have if he didn't get diagnosed in the first place. So
wow. So it's like, thank God that he was just like, hey, let me just check my blood pressure out. I don't feel all that kind of cool. And then that cascade effect into you getting tested, your parents getting tested. Now, did your mom or dad have the gene or no?
So my mom does have one of the gene mutations. My father has not quite yet gotten any sort of gene testing done. So we're not exactly sure on his, but we do know my mom does.
Gotcha. Wow. That is like, that's mind blowing right now, because I mean, Joshua was 17, right? 16 or 17 at that time.
Yeah.
He just, and we don't hear about, that young of people having high blood pressure. I think in my mind, you always think that it's later, right? It's later in life. And so and this was during COVID as well. So it's like one thing on top of another. So, wow. Listen, this is quite a story. I'm taking this in because I'm, as I said to you offline before we started the show, I'm getting educated about this as well. And so this is happening, like your story and Joshua's story, and hearing about it is happening with me real time. So why don't we take a break and let this kind of sink in with folks. But when we come back, we're going to talk more with you about what's happening with after this. Like, what were some of the first steps that you took and your brother took after your diagnosis? So listen, everybody, we're going to take this break and we'll be back with more of Soulivity Today in just a moment.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old-style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Join us every weekday at 8 a.m. for Soulivity Today.
Whether you're just starting your day or on the road,
Soulivity Today will make your days better.
We will empower you with authentic conversation about the latest news and trending topics. Plus, you won't want to miss our interviews with industry experts.
so sit back, relax, and get ready for a whole lot of fun.
Soulivity Today, weekdays at 8 a.m. only on KMET 1490 AM radio and ABC News affiliate. Hey there, we're back here with more on Soulivity today, and joining us is NephCure volunteer community leader Jorden Albright as we shed a spotlight on APOL1 kidney disease and the inaugural National APOL1 Kidney Disease Awareness Day on April 30th. Jorden wanted to level set some people with some facts here about all this and why this is really important. 13% of African Americans carry these specific gene changes that can lead to APOL1 kidney disease. Of these individuals, 1 in 5 will develop APOL1 kidney disease. It can impact individuals of all ages, including children and young adults, often progressing swiftly to kidney failure. And right now, there are no currently FDA-approved treatments specifically for it. So again, everyone, this is important. Even after the show, I would highly recommend that you share this interview with other people so that they can know about what is going on with this and that they can also get tested. Because I know I am. This is some scary stuff. Jorden, what was life like for you and your brother after you were diagnosed, and like the beginning of whatever treatment that you could take at that point?
Mhm. So how it went down with us is that luckily my mother had actually gotten connected with NephCure through a lot of searches online. So we were very blessed in that aspect that we were able to get genetic testing through NephCure. It was something that was not FDA approved at the time. I believe it's still working towards that. So we were able to get that test done beforehand and kind of get a marker to understand that, okay, we do have the gene mutation. And then it was able to bring us straight to our actual specialist and get a kidney biopsy done. So we had a renal biopsy done to actually confirm that we had the APOL1 FSGS mutation within our genes. So once we had that done, at that point, it was really just figuring out a way to manage our own health, figuring out those right habits and which ones we maybe need to kick as far as moving throughout the rest of our lives. We both were luckily already pretty active people, already were pretty normally going to the gym, trying to eat relatively healthy. Of course, my brother being younger, he still was a teenager, so getting better about certain things. Myself too, but I was lucky at a time for my life already trying to slowly get a bit healthier. So it was really just trying to find the right way to go about it. Still kind of taking it in that this was a new normal, and just learning how to live with this new diagnosis without being too down on it, because your physical health is just as important as your mental health. If your mental health is down, overall it can lead to the rest of your body being following suit. So it was just really important to us to not let our mental be too down in the depths for too long, and kind of just building each other up, making sure we're not just sitting down trying to be dwelling on what it is that we're living with, rather than looking on the positives. Now we can actually maybe help some people and spread some more word to it, and hopefully let some more people know what's going on.
Wow. I look at this as similar to, I'm a Crohn's disease survivor and warrior. So there, like you, there is no cure right now. There's some treatments that kind of help and that kind of deal. But I think one important thing I'm going to just echo that you just said, that I think that everyone should kind of take in is you can't give up hope. You have to live positively, right? You guys, you're like, well, this is the new normal. So I can either, kind of, curl up into a ball and not deal with it, or I can like, okay, what do I need to do to carry on with my life? So I celebrate you and your brother. And I would say your parents were probably there too, kind of like, being a support mechanism.
Absolutely. My parents, parents in the world, very lucky.
I told you offline that this is something that's very close to my heart. We're we're doing a health equity. There's a commitment that I've made to the community around health equity and bringing more information to people. It's in part why you're here talking about APOL1. My father was diagnosed with kidney disease many years ago, and died from complications of that. So what you're talking about is just really important to me. And so thank you again for being here and sharing this information. Were there any other adjustments that you guys needed to make? I mean, like the food thing is one part. Were there like, I know with me, there was like, okay, now I have to go to the doctor and these kind of schedules.
Yes.
Maybe there's some medication I need to take. What was it like for you and your brother? I mean, what were those adjustments?
Yes, so my brother is actually on a lot more medicine than I, just
Okay.
because he has a more elevated blood pressure. So he has a higher dosage of lisinopril. I take lisinopril as well, only about 10 milligrams. And so for us, we had differing circumstances because we're at different stages as far as our diagnosis, and everyone's body reacts differently. So I already had kind of a lower hovering blood pressure, so I couldn't really take that much of it. And luckily, my numbers relatively look pretty good, so it's not necessarily something I worry about right now. But I can only take X amount to kind of help with what it is that I have. And my brother, he's on like nifedipine, lisinopril. He's also in a study right now that we were able to get in contact with through NephCure with Vertex, and he's been doing a lot better. So for him, he had a lot more of a drastic change because pretty quickly he was in a medical study. Got with NephCure, kind of went through the process. He was able to connect with Vertex. And then throughout the study, he was able to get on a new drug that they're hoping to get FDA approved and available to the masses. And his numbers have been significantly better over time. So for him, he's kind of had to do a lot more in the meantime, going to way more appointments, be way more on top of being with his nephrologist. Frankly, being pokes prodded here and there just to, kind of make sure he's staying on top of what his diagnosis. So for myself, it was really just the normal meetups with my nephrologist. I would go every 3 months, just get blood, like a urinalysis, blood panel done, look at all of my levels, see where I was at, how we may need to adjust my dosages. Like I started out on 2.5 milligrams, lisinopril 1 to 5, 7.5 to 10, and then just kind of reset, get together, talk about a game plan, talk about you doing well here, focus on this, we focus on this area, and kind of just putting the right efforts in place and making sure we have a good relationship with our nephrologist. And something I've learned recently is also kind of gaining one deeper with your cardiologist as well, because when you have a kidney disease, a lot of people, one of the main things that people end up passing away from as well, as far as complications, is cardiovascular health. So developing the cardiologist as well, it's been very important. So the long-winded answer is really just making sure we're on top of relationship with our doctors, maintaining our care, and just continuing having one foot in front of the other and just continue on that same path.
Wow. I'm glad that you brought that up, because one thing that I have learned recently is that there is this link, specifically within African Americans, this link between our cardiovascular health and our renal health, right? That there is that connection, and it's either one leads to one disease leads to the other disease, or vice versa. Like with my dad, it was cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, that led to the renal disease, right? Some parts through medication, some parts through, I think, maybe something that was going on. Maybe he had this gene and didn't know about it. How did you hook up with NephCure? Tell me that story real quick.
So my mother, she is a great researcher. She does a lot of research. So she was just doing a lot of looking into different support groups and just trying to find answers anywhere, trying to find other people's stories, and just try to feel like we weren't so alone in what we're, this new normal for us. So she was online and she actually met Kelly Helm, who's an amazing, amazing person. NephCure, who leads the patient navigation sector of NephCure, and she saw my mom's posts. They talked. She opened up a few opportunities as far as support groups, invited us to a patient summit, and my brother Joshua got very quickly wanted to get involved in advocacy. You know, seeing other kids' stories, what they lived through, wanted to help in any way he could as far as just spreading awareness because it's something new to us, very scary to us, and the fact that we knew nothing about it was crazy with how prevalent it was within our own communities. So,
Wow.
luckily, social media, we got to connect with NephCure very quickly, and they truly played such a very large role in our stories. They've changed our lives in a very positive manner, time and time again.
Wow.
So,
wow. Listen, well, we'll do a shout out to mom because there's nothing like a mother's love.
What's up, Mom?
Oh man. Well, listen, on that note, we're gonna take another break. But when we come back, everybody, we're gonna talk more with Jorden about where they are today, like how are they doing, and talk about some of the things that they want to do in their future. So listen, stay right by your computer or by your radio, and we'll be back with more of Soulivity Today in just a second. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. You can learn more about the Aspire Academy by Soulivity by visiting aspire.soulivity.com today. Hey, we're back here with more with NephCure volunteer community leader Jorden Albright as we shed a spotlight on APOL1 kidney disease and the inaugural National APOL1 Kidney Disease Awareness Day on April 30th. Just another quick factoid that maybe got lost in the mix earlier. Individuals who inherit these gene variations have a 10 to 20 times risk of developing kidney disease in their lifetime. So this is really, really important for people to know about, especially those within the African American community and those of African descent. So get tested today. Jorden, how are you doing, man? I mean, how are you doing today? And your brother, Joshua, how is he doing?
Yeah, we're both in very high spirits. Health-wise, we're both doing well. We're very lucky to be in the situation we are in, and we really are just living, breathing examples of just catching it early, preventative care and just staying on top of such, because the biggest thing with this disease is that a lot of people just have no idea. So we were very lucky to catch it when we did. be able to know, because knowledge is power, and that really made all the difference. If we did not know, we would have just kept on living until, unfortunately, we reached end-stage renal disease, which is a lot of people's stories. So we're better every single day. I cannot complain.
Wow. Wow. Now I know, again, I'm getting educated here, so I know enough about this stuff to be dangerous. There are what, five stages of kidney disease, or is there four? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. So or I don't want to completely misspeak on this. I am 95% sure. As you can see, I'm still as a patient, so I'm learning, playing out the process. But I believe 5 is when it's this end-stage renal disease at that point. So you go through like the first stage, the second, third, the fourth, and then once you reach the 5th is when unfortunately your kidneys are no longer properly working, and you need to either get on dialysis or work toward getting a transplant. So yes, it is 5 stages. I just want to make sure I was not incorrect.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know that this is serious. I mean, it's as you were saying, you and your brother Joshua were able to catch this early. You're able to do intervention to kind of slow down the progression of the disease in your kidneys, which which we're all happy that you guys did that. But there are people who don't pay attention. They don't get tested because they don't know, right? Which is why NephCure is having this awareness day. This is the first one, which is like crazy to me, because my guess is this has been around now for a minute, and so glad that NephCure is taking the lead. So talk to me how you feel about that, about like being part of this movement.
It's very special. It happened very quickly, but I really couldn't imagine it any other way. And like I mentioned a bit earlier, is that my younger brother was the catalyst for myself being involved. He was just very passionate about it. He was very upset with the idea of that this was such a major thing that we just had no idea about, and thinking about the potential of if we just continue to not know. And then one day, we just fell off, and like we had reached end-stage renal disease. So it feels very, very special to us to be able to be a part in any capacity, to help spread a word, see these amazing things happening and all these advancements as far as science and just new opportunities for people to be able to increase their livelihoods. Just because I've met a lot of people who just did not have many options outside of just getting pumped with a lot of steroids,
Right.
a lot just different things that we weren't even really sure if it was gonna help them or not. And unfortunately, they just kind of paid for it in other ways within their own health, and then to eventually learn that some of it didn't help everyone. Everyone's body reacts differently. So it's like it means a lot to us to see the people that my brother's going to reach and help, and see it's like, hey man, your story really like led me to do this. Actually take actions. It's we feel very lucky to have these sorts of opportunities like this to be able to help in any way. Because even if one person listens, that's plenty. Because one person to another person, they get to one person. It just it's a trickle effect. Kind of spreading that word.
Wow. Well, again, we're glad you're both here, still too.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about life beyond APOL1. I mean, as you kind of said in the last segment around, you and your brother basically were like, listen, well, this is what we're living with this now. This is our reality. So we're not going to let this monkey stop the show. We're going to keep moving. And so what does that look like in terms of for your future? What are some of the things that you want to do in your life? Like, what dreams do you have for yourself?
Biggest things that I've realized that have really come into the forefront of my mind in recent years, my priorities have changed a bit. I really just hope to be healthy and very happy throughout life. I do have a lot of aspirations as far as my own personal and financial goals and whatnot, and continue to grow in my career. But I just think a lot of certain things have kind of maybe taken a back burner, kind of made you look at life from a different scope. And my family, my health, their health, future generation, it to me is just further I don't know, being hopeful for that. I hope that we can just see more treatments, less people getting right onto dialysis, less people finding out when it's too late.
Right.
So I really hope for that over time. But aside of that, I hope to to see my brother do really well. He's had to go through a lot,
Yeah.
far more than myself and more than someone at
Yeah.
his age do. He's had to grow up really quickly. And it kind of
Yeah.
took away at parts of his life. So I just hope he keeps on having great opportunities, and keep on doing what he loves to do. So like right now, he's actually going to Africa to on the way. He's actually on the plane right now to go spread the word out there for the first time. So I'm super happy for him, and it's amazing to see his mom
Wow. That's
like that.
great. Tell us a
So,
little bit about that. I mean, where in Africa is he going?
he is going to. I think I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Accra. I'm going to say
Accra.
Accra.
Yeah. In Ghana.
Yes, I've never been to Africa. Yes, sir, in Ghana. So he's gonna be there for the next week, speaking on like a global panel with my mom and himself. So also something that came about through NephCure. So they
Wow.
continue to do the jobs he wants to do, and it makes him so happy. So more of that, and it'll keep making me happy, 100%.
That is
Really
wow.
excited.
That's really great. I mean, and again, this is this connection, right, between the motherland and what's
Yeah.
happening here, and takes a village. I mean, this is what our community is all about. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic. That I can't stop
Actually,
smiling now because that's really cool.
thank you. That means a lot. I actually just remembered another aspect too, that when my brother had first got diagnosed. So this was
Uh-huh.
around COVID, and everyone had random hobbies that time frame, but I was learning a lot about like mushrooms and like mycelium, and like how one of the largest living organisms was the mycelial map out in Oregon. And I thought it was so
Yeah.
interesting. So I got into learning a lot about mushrooms and harvesting and stuff. And there was one in particular called reishi, or Ganoderma lucidum. Maybe you
Hmm.
pronounced that wrong, but I ended up finding a bunch of PubMed stories out there, showing that reishi mushroom had been used in Chinese studies, um, showing actual
Wow.
reduction in protein spillage in different patients. And
Wow.
I ended up finding an article on NephCure's website, and I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty cool!" Like, I've been spending all this time to learn about this stuff, and I was literally making my own tinctures. I had like my own supplements I made. So I'm looking at this stuff, and like reading this article. I'm like, what are the odds of this like lining up like this, and like this being something that's helped people? Like some of these studies from like 5 or so years ago, and like it was very cool, random little overlap right there. And the CEO of NephCure, Joshua Tarnoff, amazing man. I love that guy to death. He's also very much into fungi. So that was something really like kicked off our relationship. And like he would just text me random pictures of mushrooms, and we'll talk about that of like it on his hikes. And that was a big part that kind of opened up our relationship. And it
Ooh,
was a cool aspect. It really kind of made me be like, okay, man, like they also support like Eastern medicines and like different approaches to health, not just, just pill after pill and all this and that. I thought it was really cool to learn about.
ex- so like a whole
Herb.
holistic,
Yeah.
it's like a whole holistic approach. Well, listen,
Yeah.
I told Maurice Madden, who's an advocate there and director of outreach. I said, you guys had me at hello. When I start hearing about what everybody was doing and that kind of thing, they just seem like it's a family, kind of like a family there. They're there to support people through the initial diagnoses. I mean, because this is hard. This is tough stuff, right? Like you just said,
Yeah.
that
That's
that diagnosis just changed you and your brother's lives. I mean, like, no more playtime, right?
right.
It's like we have to take our lives more seriously now. So beautiful organization. In fact, in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about their forum that's coming up on April 30th. That's celebrating the inaugural APOL1 Awareness Day. So listen, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to get some thoughts from you. Just what do you want people to know? How can people get involved? And what do you want to say to those people who have been diagnosed and recently with it as well? So we're going to take this quick break, everybody, but we'll be back with more of Soulivity Today in just a second.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So, tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us, a place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hey, we're back here with NephCure volunteer and community leader Jorden Albright as we shed a spotlight on APOL1 kidney disease and the inaugural National APOL1 Kidney Disease Awareness Day on April 30th, which is coming up. We're going to give people some information about that in just a second. But Jorden, thank you again for being here. You and your brother's story is such an inspiration. Just so impressed with both of you. What do you want to say to those people in the community, either diagnosed or living with APOL1 kidney disease today?
Thank you, sir. And again, I really appreciate you having me on here today. I just want to further shed light on what you said earlier. Just don't lose hope. I think that's the most important thing. Just know that there's so many people around that you can lean into if need be. But there's just so many new advancements, so much more awareness being spread, a lot more funding going around. So we're very quickly going in a different direction as far as, just having more resources, more opportunities for us to not just be kind of stuck in that dark ages of just not having many options. So, there's only more to come, only getting better. So I just really keep saying, don't lose hope. That's the most important aspect.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And for those people across the nation and world, what do you want them to know about the disease specifically?
I'd like them to know that it's a silent killer. I just want to keep reiterating that, is that this is something that you can live with for a very long time without having any outright symptoms. And even if you do begin to have some sort of maybe symptoms, we're all just human beings. We all have days we don't feel great. Some days we may have a headache. We may feel a little lethargic. That's natural. We're about to at some points. But, I think it's very important to not be scared to speak to your primary care physicians, ask some of these questions, and, just try to seek guidance sooner than later, even if you may have something going on, because you may not, but your brother, maybe your sister, your cousin, somebody, so even just being open to looking into yourself can mean a lot for somebody else right around you. So just know it's a silent killer, and it's more important to be early on it, ask those questions, and make sure you may not be at risk. So very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know I'm going to go get tested. I need to make that appointment, and I'm going to make the appointment for me and my honey, my wife, so that we can go get tested and find out. Because we were kind of talking about this offline earlier, that yes, this disease affects people who look like you and me, because guess what, we're from African descent, right? but there are people
Right.
who don't look like you and me who can also be carriers of the gene transformation because of some genetics in their family, right? So
Yes,
it's
sir.
important for people to get tested, period. Um, um, because again, like you just said, it is a silent killer that you will not know until you cannot know until it's too late. And then you may
Right.
need a transplant or something like that. How can people learn more about NephCure and APOL1 kidney disease?
I would go right to the horse's mouth. I would say that you can just type in NephCure on your Google search. It'll bring you right to the website as we see listed here. And they have a lot of amazing sections that'll go from, if you want to hear about people living with kidney disease, you can click there, read people's personal stories. You can go to patient connections, go on there and kind of have the opportunity to further connect with other people living with the same disease as yourself. You can go to get involved if you're interested in maybe volunteering. For instance, this upcoming Sunday, I'll be speaking at Ebenezer Baptist Church. So we just sent out an overall text to anybody in Atlanta that may be open to helping out with a bit of volunteer hours, just kind of getting that event going. And then we have our event section that would tell you everything we have going on throughout that month and the next months and past months. Healthcare professionals will show you some of the NephCure doctors that we partner with and that we refer some of our patients to go and speak with, or hopefully go to as far as their primary nephrologist if they're open to doing such. And then the About Us section will just tell you a bit more about NephCure, what it is that we do, whom all is involved, and yeah, just shed a bit more light on the organization itself. But yeah, a few more sections find up the top right. You can get our emails, find a specialist, and then it's a lot of amazing resources on the website. So I would navigate straight to the NephCure website. Just get to clicking.
I love the fact that you guys are bringing in so many different aspects of this, right? Because I know in the advocacy work that I've done, it's more important that there's not just awareness where you're telling people to their faces, this is what's going on. You also have to bring a sense of community, right? So you bring them bring them into the fold as a larger village. And then you wrapped it with resources that all the community can use to battle, whatever you're trying to do. So way to go, NephCure, and way to go, Jorden and Joshua, for this stuff. And Mom too, because Mom's in Africa now too.
I was really the one.
Joshua.
Mom, really home too. I love Kelly. She really opened the door for us with NephCure. So.
Absolutely. Listen, while we have time, just want to mention, are you going to be part of the forum next week as well, or Joshua?
On Sunday or?
Yeah, I mean on Tuesday next week.
I believe my brother Joshua is, but if not, I am sure it'll be me as well.
Okay. Okay, and what we're talking about, everybody, is NephCure's spotlight on APOL1 during a virtual town hall that's going to be on Tuesday, April 30th. Soulivity will be hosting it on our platforms. So if you want to go to eventbrite.com and do a search for Soulivity, you can actually go there and you can participate, or you can watch it that day on any of our social media channels. There'll also be a rebroadcast of it on Wednesday morning on KMET 1490 AM radio at 8 a.m. Pacific time for all of you guys out on the West Coast. This live town hall will include discussions with leading APOL1 researchers, doctors, and people who are personally impacted by APOL1 kidney disease, and that you can ask questions and learn more about the impact of this disease in Black and African American communities. Please do not miss this important event. Jorden, wow. Time always flies when you're having fun and meeting inspirational people like you. Thanks again for being here with us this morning.
Thank you so much for your time. That means a lot to me and my brother. So I would definitely share that sentiment.
Oh man, yeah, please do, and give your mom a big hug, and let her know. Yeah, and your dad, keep up the good work with they're raising some fine young men, and we know you're going to be around for a long time. We're just going to affirm that now. So thanks again for being here. Listen, everyone, we're running out of time. Just want to say thank you for joining us on this edition of Soulivity Today. This is how we do it every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. on Eastern Time, or 8 a.m. Pacific Time on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. Remember to follow us on social media, where you can learn more about everything that's going on in our world. Specifically, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can get updates every time that we go live. And if you like this show or any of our other shows, go to your podcast provider and download us on your podcast, on your mobile phone. We're on all the major ones, including Spotify and SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts and many, many others. So take us wherever you go. So again, listen, so much to talk about, so much things that are happening with Soulivity. We really, 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 really appreciate you being here and supporting us on this journey as we support you in learning more about your passion, your purpose, so you can have a higher quality life. Listen, until next time, this is Brian Westley Johnson saying thanks again for being here. Keep working your passion and purpose, and you're going to create that best life today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved. Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.